Hello, and thank you very much for staying tuned to the Nigerian Television Authority. My name is Cecile Egbele, and you're watching the Medley Show with me, Cecile. Okay, today we'll be talking food. Yes, food. I know we've talked food before, and the week we talked about food, there were so many reactions, so many of your feedback on the program. Well, today we'll be talking food, and today is going to be Nigerian culinary options. Now, there are many options we'll get to look at, many things about food we'll talk about. You know, our rice is the very popular rice. We do it as fried rice, as white rice, as jollof rice, coconut rice. Anyhow, but on the program today, we'll talk about many options on how to spice up your rice. And maybe when you're bored of always eating it in one way, how can you touch it up to be a little more enticing for you? We'll talk about yams. Then we'll talk about spices. What kind of taste do you want? Many of you, the much you use as spices, maybe curry thyme, but well, there are some others we'll get to talk about on the program today. So we'll look at the very many options as regards Nigerian cuisine as we get along on the program. I will introduce my guest who is a chef. He'll join me to talk about these and more, but that'll be right after we get back from this feature break. This is a backgrounder, and it's going to set the tone of our discourse on the program today. And even as we get to move on with the program, we'll talk about culinary etiquettes. Okay, maybe we're talking etiquette now. We'll talk about the behaviors when you're on the dining, about the use of the cutlery. I know, yes, most of our food in Nigeria, we use our hands. And many times it's not very easy to just use your spoon and eat, or just use your fork to just munch on something on the food before you. But when you go to some gatherings, you are expected to actually use your cutlery. All right, on the program, we'll get to talk about how you can get to use this effectively. Anyhow, but let me just introduce my guest to you right now. My guest is a content creator, but very importantly, he is a chef, and he is Chef Simax.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for coming around.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Chef Simax, you're also a private
chef.
Private chef.
Yes,
When you say
yes.
private chef,
Yes.
you mean like I can just hire you just come to my house and be my chef or something?
Yeah. You just assign me to be your personal chef to actually cook to your allergy. If you have allergy of some certain spices or meals or seafood.
Okay.
So eating out, you don't actually get a chef to know what you don't eat or what you eat. So having a personal chef or a private chef, it makes you have someone, that person close to you that actually know everything that you don't eat and things you actually
your
eat,
diet,
and actually give you more new meals every day.
More new meals every day. Okay, maybe before we go on to take our feature, let's talk about when I was giving my introduction, I talked about the usual rice that we eat. Many of us out there that we've eaten rice over and over again. Like sometimes I say I can eat rice in a competition for Nigeria and I'm very likely win. But sometimes I just get bored with eating it. So what are the different ways I can actually spice up my rice, make it a little different on my usual meal to make it something unique?
Well, there's more than 99,000 ways for you to make
Good.
it. Good.
Share with us 4 or 5 or 6.
You can actually have a plant-based rice today.
A what?
About a plant-based rice.
Plant-based rice, meaning veggies?
Your veggies, and maybe, instead of having your paste as the normal tomato paste, which you call the jollof rice, and and the gara, which they also call. Having a plant-based rice, more like, blending a basil leaf, as your paste.
Okay, basil leaf, okay.
Anything green, let's just say the
Anything
green, the parsley, and these stuffs are very high.
Did you say blend?
Yeah. You blend to make a paste, your salt is there, your chicken stock is there, so you actually have a nice seasoning after all.
Wait.
Exactly.
This is what this guy just said. This my chef. He said you can, instead of blending your tomatoes, just like you blend your tomatoes, you can blend your veggies.
Exactly. You just blend your veggies. You can actually blend sweet corn too. You just make a paste, you mix it up and just heat up,
Okay, you know what we're gonna do? Let's take a backgrounder. While we get back from the backgrounder, I know that there are a couple of clips of yours online on your Instagram page. I will see you do those funny things, and I'm wondering like, okay, what is this guy up to? All right, let's take the background feature, and then We'll be back to talk a little more.
Besides water, if there's anything one can't survive without, it is food. Food is essential, not just for consumption. It can also be used to identify one's origin. One thing common with many Nigerian cuisines is the spicy nature of their food. For someone who yearns for Nigerian food, smoky Nigerian jollof rice should be your best bet. The taste will leave you craving for more. The highlight of this jollof rice is the smokiness from the firewood with which it is cooked. That doesn't mean all Nigerian jollof rice is cooked using firewood, but to achieve that unique party taste with some smokiness, using firewood is your best bet. Shombo, tatashe, onion, pepper, ginger, garlic, seasoning, rice, oil, and preferred proteins are ingredients used in making a perfect jollof rice. Igbo kwenu. Igbos take pride in their soups. Soups like ofe egusi, ofe okro, and ofe nsala are indigenous soups across the eastern part of Nigeria. Igbos make use of palm oil while cooking their soups. Each food is accompanied by a choice of protein like goat meat, beef, chicken, fish, snail, pork, and or bushmeat. Abacha and ukwa are ceremonious cuisines. They are both easy to make but expensive. The making of abacha and ukwa doesn't exceed 30 minutes once all ingredients are neatly prepared. Omodua Ekusheo. What is visiting the West without tasting the famous amala and ewedu? Let us dive into the West's never disappointing ewagoin, ofada sauce and rice, eforiro and ikokore. Yoruba cuisine is mainly made of palm oil. The hotness of these cuisines can't be overemphasized. It is either hot or hot. I almost forgot to mention the jaw-dropping famous asun. What is life without a well-seasoned asun? Yorubas are unapologetic about their unique food combination. Ewagoin is best consumed with agege bread. For ofada rice, no matter the type of occasion, it must be served in a leaf with the sauce. Senun de Zua. Let's head to the north. Keeping it unique, tasty, and classy is the style of northern cuisines. Tuwo shinkafa and masa are both made from rice, but both have unique taste and are also eaten differently. Snacks like kilishi, suya, and kulikuli are made in the north, but eaten across other regions. Miyan taushe, tuwo masara, miyan kuka, and gote are exceptional meals worth giving a try when you visit northern Nigeria. One common thing with Nigerian food is their love for making tasty, spicy, and aromatic meals. The health benefits involved in the consumption of these meals are enormous.
Alright, we've just seen some local delicacies from Nigeria. Thank you very much for putting that one together. Let's go on to talk about spices now.
Okay.
Getting to cook with spices. I also see that you use a whole lot of spices. So what kind of tastes? Let's look at the regular ones we have. The curry spice, the thyme, and which are the other ones? Oh, I say please don't call. Please don't call. Please. Okay, I think some people are calling, and I would actually like to. Okay. Okay, so sorry, we just had the message coming in. So let us quickly get to take this message. And this message says, well done. Okay, well done to your chef. Okay, chef, they say well done.
Thank you very much.
All right, his name is Chef C-Max for those of you trying to find out. And please, like I say, do not call, just send in your message. So we're talking about spices now.
Yeah.
Now, talking about spices, what spice? Introduce to us the different regular spices that are very available to us.
Okay, yeah, the regular spices we all know are, or I grew up knowing, were the curry powder, the thyme, the Paprika.
Paprika is okay.
Yeah, you got it from the green bell peppers.
Yeah.
You know.
Paprika.
I grew up knowing the normal salt, the normal refined salt.
Didn't you grow up knowing Iru and Dawadawa?
I grew up knowing that too, but I'm not allergic to them, but I don't like the smell.
Yeah.
So that's one problem I have cooking Nigerian meals. Like I love my country so much, but actually having these stuff around, you get me. Oh, chef, why is the kitchen smelling like this? But after cooking it, they actually have to eat up their hands out. So I grew up knowing the Iru, the Dawadawa. I grew up knowing the kanwa, which is the potash.
Okay.
Yes, I have this favorite soup from my mom. It's very, very nice. It's just made from that kanwa.
What soup is it?
Yeah, they call it miyan kanwa.
Miyan kanwa.
Yeah, that's potash soup, just with fish. From Taraba, so we have a lot of fish there.
Okay.
So I grew up knowing the spices. I grew up knowing the regular bay leaf.
Okay, so bay leaf. Let's take a bay leaf now.
Okay.
I want to cook. So really, because I know that some people would say bay leaf is used to soften or help your meats when you're cooking it. So exactly how do we use bay leaves?
There are like two ways people use bay leaf, right? When you're using it for your soup, some people love stir frying it from the scratch with the oil.
When you're using it to
make like stew. When you're actually taking your onion in, some people prefer taking it there, then getting the flavor out with water when taking the tomatoes in. Why some people love having it after mixing their spices? Why? Because bay leaf is very, very strong. It's very, very strong, and if you don't know how to, you just have this burnt feeling, burnt sensation in your body, in your throat.
Okay.
You understand? If you don't know how to use bay leaf, I always advise, no matter how big your food is, 1 to 5 leaf of bay leaf is fine.
1 to 5 leaf. So, but fine. Is bay leaves? Do we use it for soups, local soups?
Yes, we do.
Soups?
Yes, we do.
I don't know. I've not used it for soup
before. The truth is, every leaf is meant for every meal. It's just you knowing the right one for this, the right one for this, the right one for this.
So guys, today we are doing one of my favorite wraps. I love it because it's all vegetable and of course chicken breast. So we have our lettuce here, we have our cabbage, we have spring onions, we have celery, tomatoes, bell peppers, carrots, a bit of lemon. We have our sweet corn and of course garlic, ginger, onions and chicken breasts, and also a bit of sausage there and our spices. So first thing, we are going to marinate our chicken breast. Black pepper, so rosemary, a bit of white pepper, cayenne pepper. You can spice it as much as you want. It brings out the flavor in the chicken. And you all know chicken breast is the most healthiest part of chicken. And our seasoning. And then I like to add a bit of lemon juice in it and sesame oil, just a spoonful of sesame oil, and oyster sauce. A spoon would do. So this brings out the flavor in the chicken breast. So you mix. We're using virgin oil, olive oil. While we allow this to marinate a bit, we start adding our onions, then your fresh garlic, and also your fresh ginger. And then you add your fresh pepper. So if you want more pepper, you could add paprika pepper. Don't forget it's lettuce wrap. So you need to spice it up. And then here comes our marinated chicken breast. So just keep stir frying it on the very low heat. So guys, we're going to allow this to cook for like 5 minutes. So I'm going to cover this up and wait for like 5 minutes. So guys, it's time for us to check our chicken breast, whether it's cooked or not. Yummy, it smells very good. Guys, if you're here in this room, you just want to take the whole pot and run away. So it looks very nice. The pepper, it's nice, it's coming out well. All the other spices aside seasoning that are added, they are all very nice. So we'll still cover this up and then allow it to cook for 5 to 6 minutes more. So guys, it's time for us to check our chicken breast. Nice, smells good. See all the juice coming out. So this would take like after you've prepped your vegetables and everything that you needed to use for this, takes less than 30 minutes to make. So guys, I'm adding our spring onions. A bit of celery. And of course our bell pepper. You can add a bit of the carrots and stir fry. Just give them a simple stir. And then we are ready. This is cooked. Okay, so now we are plating our vegetable wrap, and we have lettuce and then cabbage. I like this cabbage to be this way because it serves as a cup for the chicken and all the vegetables that you needed to be inside. So we're just going to and of course your spring onions, beautiful and still very tasty, and then your sweet corn, just a bit of it, you don't need to put so much of it. There's cayenne pepper, there's apple cider and a bit of lemon in it too, so everything here is healthy. So we're just going to sprinkle this on top of it just to garnish it. I guess you just want to fly out from wherever you are to come and have this chicken vegetable wrap garnished with all kinds of vegetables and cream.
Together, that's Chef Bola Tito actually doing her thing, and she calls this one lettuce wrap by Chef Bola Tito. There are so many questions I actually thought about when I was going to ask you.
Okay.
Many of you chef, you will talk about marinating. When you marinate, how exactly, because some people don't get to do this so well, and when we just it really gets the whole spicy feel at the surface, so it doesn't go in. So what's the best way to do it? Okay, let's take that first and then I'll ask you another.
Okay, if you actually marinate it like a meat and you have to use oil, I prefer you start with the oil. You know, the oil. Then if you are using pure powder, maybe the garlic powder, the onion powder, you know, sesame seed powder and all. But if you're actually doing that, then you should actually have that together after the oil, marinated for at least 3 to 6 hours before, whether grilling, whether toasting, you know, whether roasting, whether cooking, because this actually helps it go into the meat.
I could say I could.
No, it can't work that way. It's like a journey. You don't shorten. When you shorten a journey, we both know that you miss the experience. So you actually miss some certain things. You know, when you actually get the bites, you don't get the complete piercing of the
I know what to do. I'll use an injection.
Injection doesn't still work immediately.
Okay.
You have to allow it cool, and you have to actually have maybe a tenderizer or just salt to actually soften this meat. And the salt actually peaks the active moment, that the activation actually starts 45 minutes after the salt has been well massaged.
All right, tell us about grilling and roasting.
Okay, yeah, if you're, I would say roasting, people actually mistake roasting for grilling.
Yes.
You know, because when you're roasting, you're actually using brute force, which is you're actually using a covered and maybe if you're using an oven, an electric oven, that means you're using a covered and a fan speed process. But if you're grilling, you're using a direct flame.
Direct flame.
You understand? A direct flame to your protein.
Okay, that's when you're roasting. So that's when you're using the charcoal over.
You understand? So you're maybe using maybe a foil paper to actually cover your whole meat and maybe buried inside the charcoal or buried inside another pot. That's not grilling, that's roasting.
That's roasting. Okay, I'll ask you about foil paper, how healthy that is.
Okay.
But meanwhile, let's quickly have a look at your clips and then we'll talk about it. Now let's look at it.
All right.
Spitting nothing but facts. Fans screaming, I'm back. Legendary, I'm that. Cooking up a new batch. Guess who got a new glow? Patching in a new flow. Purifying that dope. My dog with me, cool Joe. These niggas be lying. Fairy tales and they rhymes. Something special inside.
Now, these are some of Chef Simak's menu of some of your meals you actually prepared, and I really like it. Now, one particularly would like to talk about. Did I just see you use a fruit juice to cook? No, I didn't. Maybe that was. I just guess I didn't see that right. Did you?
That's what Crazy Chef Clan do actually.
You are indeed a crazy chef. Like seriously.
Yeah, that's why when I say plant-based, I mean everything has to be healthy. You know, everything has to be. You have to actually have this feeling like, did this guy really use this stuff to cook for me? You know. So that's the reason why we actually had. Now having that actually give me more seasoning, because I actually have the flavor from the orange. I actually have the sweetness from the orange. So why would I going to start using Maggi or something inside my food where I have my oranges working for everything? You know.
Okay. So, but what kind of thing? I'm gonna get a sweet kind of taste.
You have a sweet taste, but I'm using a little bit of sesame oil, so that actually get the blend, and I'm having that umami feeling too.
All right, let's take some messages very quickly, and then we'll talk a little more. Please do not call. I see you trying to call. Good afternoon. Please, what's the best food to consume after morning jogging? Please do write your name and where you are writing us from as you send your message. Best to eat after jogging in the morning. Let's take one more alongside that. Hello, presenter. What kind of food should people above 40 years of age eat, and that will help build up their immune system? Once again, I didn't see a name there, but please write your name and where you're writing us from. So,
okay, yeah, I'll give one answer for the two questions first, which is after jogging, after your morning exercise, you can actually start with egg. You can actually start with egg. You can actually go with salmon. Because you're actually building omega-3, building strong calcium, and also the immune system build up to it. So salmon and egg are fine. Then maybe you can actually go with a salad. When I say salad, I just don't mean just the normal cabbage and the carrots. You can actually do the iceberg lettuce If that's too expensive, you can actually do the normal grilled lettuce we all know, and maybe a tuna fish, and maybe or any type of fish. But I would advise you use sardine. So maybe you use tuna fish or you use kiwarua. You know, just stir fry it with your normal salt and your tomato, your avocado.
So
You have a healthy meal. These are two answers. These are two answers for two questions.
For two questions.
Yes. Then about the 40 years, I will actually advise you to stop using Maggi in your food. You know, stop using Maggi in your food.
But that's a particular brand, because there are other brands. So you mean the processed
Oh,
seasonings?
okay. Sorry. Stop using any
Those cubes.
Yeah,
those
yes, the
processed
cubes or
seasonings,
the
okay.
brewing cubes. I'm so sorry. The brewing cubes. They're actually good, but not for that certain age range. So you should actually drop the consumption, and at the same time, you should actually reduce the way you use your salt.
So what are the options? If I have to drop that, what are the options?
Earlier I stated about having chicken stock, fish stock,
Making it
vegetable.
yourself.
Yeah, making it yourself.
Like after boiling your chicken, the stock, you can
know,
preserve it.
That means you don't have the cubes, the brewing cubes inside of it. You don't even have salt inside of it. They are all plant based.
I remember when we were making the stock, boiling the chicken, they already used the cubes.
No, that's what I said. That's the normal Nigerian type, and that's not chicken stock. That's not chicken broth. That is pure remnants from your.
Okay.
You understand? That's the liquid left after you've taken off your meat. What we call stock is when you actually have the flesh, a little bit of the fleshy and the bony part of your protein. You know, still fresh. You know, then you have your celery, your carrot, your greens. You know, your bay leaf, your onion, and your garlic together, boiled for at least 3 hours. So you have this
On low heat.
You understand? On low heat. Thank you very much. On low heat for 3 hours, and you have a nice taste already. So you can actually use this for anything.
Okay, very quickly, we have some questions I want you to take, so we'll have to take these questions very quickly. Now, when you say cooking on low heat, high heat, and all, I mean, I want my food to get cooked on time. I just increase it to the highest.
Then I guess you don't want that healthy food, because you have to follow this process. You know, some people say the greatest scam is cooking for 5 hours and eating for 10 minutes. Now, you know, it's not a scam.
Say it
It's a
again.
process. The greatest scam is cooking for, let's just say 3 hours and eating for 10 minutes. It sounds like a scam, because imagine having that process of cutting your onion, having that process of waiting for your egg to actually get cooked, having that process of waiting for your rice to get cooked, and you just have to sit down for just 10 minutes for that plate. It sounds like a scam, but you have to follow the process if you want a real meal.
Okay.
You understand?
All right, so you have to follow the process.
You have to follow the process.
Okay. Before talking about following the process, let's follow the journey. Let's go on the food tourism and take a look at some foods across other parts of the country.
The captivating yet intriguing sights and engaging and unique sounds can leave a sightseer in awe. But when you make these adventures, do you go searching for your familiar foods, or are you adventurous like me to taste new delicacies? Though I am not a food taster, I'm on the trail of 6 different Nigerian cuisines, and my first stop is going to be Benue State, where the attraction isn't really pounded yam, but the soup. Okoho soup is indigenous to the people of Idoma land in Benue State, and to my knowledge, the thickest soup in the country. Chefs Elehi and Ada are going to be taking me on the rudiments of eating Okoho soup.
Here at Fantasy Kitchen, the way we make our Okoho soup, it comes from a stem. It's a long stem, it's dried. So when you pluck the stem out, you beat it out, plug it into tiny shredded pieces. Then you tie it together, put it in a bowl, add your very hot water that is fully cooked. Then you leave it for a while. So when you begin to press it, the juice, which is the liquid, will begin to come out of the okoho. So you drain that out. That's the one you use for the stock. So you now add that juice that you got from the stem, the one you squeezed out, pour it inside and whip. It's really thick.
And when you take a mold of pounded yam, you mold it, then you go into the soup, you turn it like because it's thick, then you have to, with the tip of your tongue, that would be the scissors.
Okoho soup may arguably be the world's slimiest soup and very tasty. While we are salivating on the tasty Okoho soup, let us travel to Delta State, famous for their thick and slimy delicacy. This time not a soup, but a yellowish dough. Starch. Starch can be eaten with any soup, but its number one companion is banga soup, followed closely by owo soup, another local delicacy. Starch is made from cassava, and though it's tasteless eaten alone, it is mouth-watery taken with banga soup. It is originally an Urobo delight, but now a common feature in states in the South. Before settling down to a meal of starch, be sure to get a lesson or two on how to cut it. From there, we head west, where amala and ewedu mixed with bigiri and pomo is a party favorite. But this meal has traveled far past the southwestern borders. So let's skip that and take a look at ewa going. This is a meal made from black-eyed beans, which is cooked extremely soft and mashed. It is taken with a barely ground pepper sauce. This is popular in many streets and homes in Yoruba land. Then we head north and pay homage to the tuwo shinkafa, the miyan kuka. Tuwo shinkafa is made from short grain rice, which is overcooked and made into a mold, while the miyan kuka is from the powdery leaves of the baobab tree. It is said to be the easiest soup in the north to prepare. Then we go east, where we have ofe onobu, ofe nsala, ofe oweri. But what caught my eye was abacha, a mixture of cassava, vegetables, garden egg, onions, and whatever you like to put into it, with stew poured on top and fish to go with it. Just like the Polano, this meal must be present at any Igbo celebration, and it is said it does not understand any language other than Igbo. Finally, the famous Nigerian party jollof rice. This is a meal general to every region in Nigeria. Though preparation and ingredients may differ from place to place and amongst households, they all arrive at the same mouth-watery finish. There are many more foods I am off to taste, and I would suggest you do the same. Meanwhile,
I'll just go straight up to take a couple of questions here because I see quite a number coming in. So we'll see how we can quickly run them.
Okay.
I love your show. I say a big well done to you and the chef.
Thank you very
What
much.
classes of food can you recommend for stroke and hypertension patients? Because food is health, food is also medicine. What's your name and where are you writing us from? Let me take two or so, then you answer quickly. Hello, presenter. What oil and seasoning is good for people above 40? This is Joseph Church from Lokoja. And lastly, let's take, my name is Sandra, watching you from Oyo State. Please let him talk more about chicken stock. Or maybe just knock off chicken stock very quickly. I don't know what you want to find out, Sandra, but he's talked about it already.
So let me just go over the chicken stock. So I said earlier on, what you just need to do, if you can actually get the back of the chicken, if you could just get the back of the chicken,
That's delicious.
uncooked, yeah, uncooked, just get them like 6 to 5 pieces of it. Get your carrots, get your onion, make sure they are all clean and beautifully washed. Your carrot, your celery, maybe the stick, the chunk side of the celery, then your garlic. You know, when you have this together, maybe a bay leaf too, then you boil them together.
How much water?
How much water? I guess if you're actually having 6 pieces, you can actually use like 3 liters, because the more it boils, the more it goes down.
Okay.
You know, then after everything, you have to clean up the top because you actually bring out the fat. So you take off that part first, allow it cool, then you filter and you have it.
And you have a stock, so it can be taken from it.
Yes, just keep in portions. Then maybe anytime you bring out a portion and use,
I can just make it into cubes and freeze it.
Now the cube part is a different side. That has to do with breads. That one have to go in the oven first.
Okay, we'll just let us put it in small containers. All right, so that's the person. That's Sandra. What's oil and seasoning is good for those above 40?
Oil, you can use more of olive. You can actually cut down. If you type that you use groundnut oil at home, you have to stop it. If you
So
type,
what oil?
Avocado oil.
Avocado.
Yes, avocado oil. This is very expensive, but it's very healthy. Avocado oil, canola oil. If you actually have almond oil too, it's healthy. But you say olive and avocado, I'll actually give it a high five.
Okay, that's not so affordable for many people. All right, so that's for that one. I love your show. Hypertension for stroke and hypertension patients. Quickly, what food? Classes of food.
Less carbs, more protein.
Less carbs, more protein.
Yes.
Hypertension
and more of plant-based meals, please.
Plant-based meals.
Yeah, if you can actually go zero, or you can actually have a future, like a substitution of the cream-based type of food you eat, and more of the cheesy part, take it out. Then go straight on plant-based, tomato-based soups for nice starters every time.
Plant-based, that means make sure your foods are foods that are
more of the vegetables.
More of vegetables than the others. All right, so now you know. Okay, we still have a couple of more questions, and I'll run that through as we take this feature, so we can actually group them together. So now let's take a look at culinary etiquette. Well, just so you know, I hope you just may need it and you can't be too sure. So let's take a look at this culinary etiquette, and then we'll be right back.
As the saying goes, the way you treat the food on your plate is a reflection of the way you treat people in your life. However, learning how to dine teaches you not just how to eat, but how to treat people. From the setting of the table to the various types of cutleries that will be used, to seating arrangements and finishing. Understanding these culinary terms, table manners and etiquettes are essential in making a favorable impression on your guests. Some commonly used culinary terms are 1. Appetizer. It is a small portion of bite-sized food which is served before a main meal as the first course in order to stimulate the appetite. 2. Bon appetit. A French phrase that literally means good appetite or enjoy your meal. 3. Café noir, French for black coffee, that is, coffee without cream or milk. 4. Cappuccino. Coffee made by topping espresso with a creamy foam from steamed milk. The foam surface is sometimes dusted with sweetened cocoa powder, nutmeg, or cinnamon. 5. Dessert. Meaning a usually sweetened food served as a final course of a meal, usually served after removing everything from the table. 6. Salad. Comes from the Latin word herba salta, or salted herbs. So called because such greens were usually seasoned with dressings containing lots of salt. For etiquettes, various gestures are used to pass signals during dining, depending on the place. In some locations, waiters help in locating one's seat. But in a situation where such services are not available, a name tag is usually placed on the tables. Now, while sitting, sit up straight in order to avoid bringing mouth to food, but foot to mouth. Take your napkin, fold in half, and place on your lap, whether in a formal table setting or for a casual table setting, or even in a basic dining which is appropriate for all types of restaurants and casual events. Each place setting includes the utensils and dinnerware pieces. that would normally be used with the corresponding style of dining. As a general rule of thumb, always begin eating with the flatware from your plate and work your way in. Some of the culinary languages used to communicate during dining are 1. Crossing coarse knife and coarse fork on top of a plate tells you are waiting for the next meal. Placing the coarse knife and fork horizontally parallel to each other tells you have enjoyed your meal excellently. Placing the coarse knife and fork vertically parallel to each other tells you have finished. Placing on top of the plate the coarse fork on top of the coarse knife tells you will be a regular customer. Placing coarse fork and knife at the two edges of the plate tells you want a complaint book. Placing coarse fork and coarse knife at angle of about 45 degrees to each other tells you paused while eating. And placing coarse forks end on top of a knife's end tells you didn't like the service. Talking while eating is like trying to do two things which requires the throat to function in opposite directions. Swallowing food inwards and sending sound or air outwards will increase the likelihood of getting choked. Moreover, it is actually rude to talk while your mouth is full.
Yeah, I hope you've learned a thing or two. All right, I can't talk so much on that now, but I appreciate that feature. Very nice, nicely done. All right, many messages. Ogiri helps you build your immune system. This is Olorumbe from Lagos writing that one. Someone wants to ask about diabetics and weight loss. Someone is asking, can someone with high BP drink soft drinks, yogurt, and bitter cola, Lawa from Kogi State? What food can someone eat after midnight? That's another question. You know what? As much as possible, I'll send these questions to Chef, and he'll answer you directly. And better still, you can reach him on any of his social media handles, Chef Simax,
Yes, Chef Simax.
and ask your questions. And for those of you asking for his contact, you can also do that. Let's see what we have here, please, Chef. Let's eat.
Let's eat. So we have one from my 1,000 recipes.
Okay.
Actually called is the CCC linguine. You know, linguine is the name of a pasta, one of the pastas family, and the CCC means the Crazy Chef Clan Linguine.
Crazy Chef
Clan Linguine.
Clan Linguine.
Because this is a fusion of the plant base, which is the nuts we're having here. The nuts we're having here, the basil leaf. We also have the black peppercorn in it. You know, we have olive oil. We have a little bit of cream in it.
That's the sleeves, right?
Yeah, then we'll have a little bit of a milky type of, I won't call it alcohol because I actually burnt it above the boiling point. So I actually have the flavor. Yeah.
All right, so this is the point where I'm supposed to test, right?
Yes,
Please,
exactly.
So I guess I don't know how you do it. You know, plating is also another thing I really wanted to talk about. You know, how do you plate your food? And some people will say when you eat colorful, you eat healthy.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so you just wiped your hands.
Just
All right.
wipe
So
my hands down to keep clean. Okay. So since we're not having our pasta plate later here, and also the plates, we'll actually use this. Talking about plating, it has to be more of the height. More of the height. More of the height, always. More of the height. So if you can actually perceive the nice aroma coming from it.
yes, I can.
The leaf, the nuts, and also the cream base. You know.
What did you blend? Did you blend?
Yeah, I blend the basil leaf together with the black peppercorn and also with the olive oil together.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So have a garnish here.
garnishing of everything.
Always garnish.
Always garnish. Don't
Always
forget.
garnish, because we eat with our eyes first. So what we need is, having a bite of what is already blended. Because of this, just like I say, always have something that they tend to imagine, or always imagine, how did he do this? So this is very healthy because the linguine is made from wheat.
Okay, the linguine is made from
Yes,
wheat.
exactly.
All right, so you have a look at the meal here with the garnishing. The leaves is what now?
Yeah, this is basil.
This is the basil leaf.
Yeah.
So you could eat any other leaf.
Yes, but edible stuffs are
Edible
more important.
leaves.
So these are edible leaves.
Can I use scent leaf or curry leaf?
Yeah, sure. This is curry is also basil, but a different species.
Okay, so this is the point where I taste and then I will say bye-bye. Okay, Chef Simax.
Yes, please.
Let's do this. I'm doing this for all of you, and whatever verdict I give, that's the verdict that you have endorsed. All right.
Before you say, let's have the chicken in there too.
Okay.
Yes, the chicken is there too.
The chicken.
Yeah. So the chicken actually have this honey type of glaze, glazed with honey. So you just don't have a sweet food, you have a healthy food.
No, chicken, pasta, I've never tasted this good. I need to do justice to this, and but that would be when the cameras are not rolling.
Okay.
That's the point where I'll tell you thank you very much, Chef Simax, for coming around.
Thank you very much.
All right, and for you all for sending your messages and being part of the program, I say thank you, and thank you. All right, let's get back to business. Okay.